There's a legal battle unfolding that most people have no idea exists, and it sits inside of industries that have already spent years under scrutiny. Bayer, through Monsanto, is now suing Pfizer, BioNTech, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. The claim isn't about safety, it's about ownership and intellectual property rights. Bayer says part of their mRNA technology used in the COVID injections trace back to patented work from Monsanto-era research into molecular stabilization, originally developed for genetically modified crops. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because these companies don't just operate inside of one space anymore. They sit across agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and genetic engineering. Now they're all facing off in court against each other. At this point, it stops being just another case and becomes something much bigger. Because while these companies are arguing over patents, licensing, and ownership of genetic technologies, governments globally are being lobbied to rewrite the rules around how this biotech science is regulated in the real world. In New Zealand, that conversation is already underway with the Gene Technology Bill, awaiting its second reading in Parliament. It's framed as modernising regulation for genetic science and innovation, or economic growth. But that word, innovation, isn't as neutral as you think. Critics, including Physicians and Scientists for Global Responsibility, argue these innocuous words act as a proxy for patents, the expansion of patent rights over genetic technologies. But underneath that, it raises a much bigger question that most people haven't fully brought into yet. How far should genetic technology be allowed to go? And who gets to decide when the boundaries of when business, science, and public interest all collide? Because whether it's in a courtroom overseas or legislation here at home, the direction is the same. Biology is no longer something we just observe and enjoy. It's something being owned, engineered, modified, and governed, often pushed by weak long-term safety testing and a steady erosion of safeguards for human health and the environment. And now here in New Zealand, the rules are being rewritten through the government's proposed Gene Technology Bill. Interestingly, with very little media coverage, it strips back the protections that have long governed how genetic technologies are handled in New Zealand. If passed, genetically modified organisms could enter the food supply with no practical way to contain or reverse contamination. Traceability once organisms are released, gone. The precautionary principle, gone. Clear lines of liability if something goes wrong, gone. And all of it without a serious look at the risks to New Zealand's export markets. These are not minor changes. They reshape the rules entirely. So New Zealanders are at a defining moment once again. 20 years ago, people came together and pushed back to protect their food supply. That same choice is here now. So if this matters to you, please share this. The media are not covering this story. Thank you.